What are 5 words you can use in any communication with your spouse, family members, or even children that will guarantee that the other person feels like you're listening to them and maybe even understanding them? I will teach them to you today. But let's cover some basic grounds first. Do you ever have people who want to argue, resist, or not feel heard or complain? And do you ever feel that immediate, I don't want to hear that. I have a million good answers for you. Now, especially when you're in a relationship, the I know it better and I have a good answer for you does not really work, does it? What does work are 5 words you can learn by heart today that will reduce your arguing time and give the other person the feeling that you are hearing them. And it will lead you to a solution. Now, these 5 words are actually, it's 5 words and 2 questions. The 2 questions I taught in my recent TEDx talk. It's 2 questions that will help you create a brighter future. The 5 simple words you can learn. My husband wanted to give men's workshops on this. If men could just master these 5 words with women who like to talk, if you're a man listening, it'll be easy for you. If you are a woman listening, remember that men do not have the same capacity to talk and feel. Let's cover some basics. The male brain is slightly different than the female brain. Did you know that the corpus callosum, the part that connects the right and the left brain hemisphere, in men in general is thinner, meaning having less neurons passing the information from the left to the right brain and vice versa, than in women? Women's corpus callosum is thicker. This was discovered in research with people who had epileptic seizures, and they found out that when they cut the connection, the brain still functioned. However, certain things could not be done. So I don't want to go into the whole entire research data. You can look it up if you wish. But let me just tell you that women in general have thicker corpus callosums and the men have a thinner highway, fewer cars going through. Now that means material that goes on in the right side of the brain, like emotions, visions, feelings, ahas, and intuitive understanding, is not as easily transported into the left hemisphere, which is responsible for speaking. That is the reason why women can immediately feel, think, rocket, and speak about it. Men need time. It's still going on in their right side of the brain. They just need some time for this trickle effect of information to go to their brain side that speaks about it. Then they will give you a condensed overview, which is why men are so liked in leadership position. They do not immediately go off with their emotions and speak what they feel. They think about it and then come down with a summary, like GPT with a summary about a text, much easier to digest than the lengthy complaint letter, right? So, conversely, men who would like to talk about their emotions have a harder time and take longer to get the information from the right side of the brain. So, here is how to help both men and women. When a woman needs to go off about her emotions and just rattles off like a speed train about what she feels, what is wrong, and what all needs to be done about it, she actually is processing her emotions. She's listening to it and then can get an insight. Guy, the man, just needs to learn 5 words. They are as follows. Write them down if you want to, but it's pretty easy for you to remember. The first word is hmm. The second word is oh. The third word is uh-huh. Fourth one is something like oh no. You get the drift. The fifth one is oh my God, or anything like that. The last 2 questions come at the very end, after the woman has rattled off all her emotions and the man has successfully applied these 5 words. I am not kidding. I tell you, my husband applies it. A zillion men from workshops who have learned these techniques have successfully given the woman the space to talk until she's quiet enough to think about what she just said. You see, women need to talk, hear themselves talk, and usually come up with their own solution. So the last questions that I presented in my TEDx talk, and I recommend you watch my TEDx talk, is what do you really want? Huh? What do you really want? Not to continue complaining, but, aiming at what is it you actually wish to gain from complaining. Then the master question that we teach in the Living from Vision course is what would it feel like if you already had that? It's called the master technique of manifestation in many of our classes because when you are able to find the answer, what do you really want? And you can, for a moment, occupy that sensation of the solution in your own heart and mind. You've come from complaining, the good guy was listening, to the question of what do you really want? The internal peace of how would it feel if you already had that. And then we can take action steps to bring things into action and bring solutions about. The universe is listening, as I write in my book, Dream Big, the universe is listening. And when you are managing to come from feeling understood because your partner is capable of asking these five questions, and then reflecting on what you really want, you come more quickly to a solution than by continuously asking yourself what is wrong with the world. Now, this works in reverse with the guy just the same because the women, we like to give answers, right? We can come up with them super fast. But have you ever noticed that nobody wants to hear any answers that we give them? People need to learn, including children, their own lesson. The best thing you can do is make the person resourceful onto their own understanding and make them think about what they actually feel. Like in Pinocchio, when it's asked to make a decision as to what is good to do, good to go off with the people who drink and smoke, my mother asked me what my inner truth was feeling like. See, redirecting ourselves to our inner wisdom helps us mature. People who come from countries that come from dictatorial countries where the decisions were made by a superior government have lacked this evolutionary status and oftentimes, when set free, find it very difficult to reflect on that deeper sense of ethics and conscience that we all have, but it needs to be trained. So ask your husband, give him the same, "Mhm, wow, wow." Listen to him with this, I'm interested. Listen to what the other person has to say, even if they rant and rave. Refrain from reacting. Choose what you say and create communication bonds by simply giving the sounding feeling as if you're listening. Uh-huh. Make each other feel like there's somebody who cares about them. The woman or man, whoever is listening, gives and transports the feeling of, I am there for you. I'm not in it just for myself. Let me refrain and take 2 deep breaths and listen first to your side. I can still come in with some other great ideas, but then ask the other person, so what do you think the solution is? What do you feel is true for you? Where do you really want to be? And then make the person go inward and ask them what that would feel like. If they got their ideal version, then you can negotiate. If the other person says outrageous things and demands outrageous things, and I tell you, most people are reasonable, you know, if they are not in the right camp, then you can negotiate and say, this goes against my fundamental values or whatever else you agree upon to have as the common ground or the common walk that you walk together. Now, If you manage to listen to each other, I guarantee you, your partner will honor you more, will say, "Oh my God, I want to keep that one on my side." So I'm happy that you're in here this long. Remember these 5 words. Uh-huh. Oh my God. Oh, And what is it you really want? And how would it feel if you already had that? And then let the other person or child come up with their own answers and then negotiate what is reasonable. Thank you very much for listening. And I am looking forward to discuss with you how you can make sure you walk in the same direction and develop the same visions in your relationship in another of my videos. See you soon. Bye bye.